I want to talk about your ears. Now, if you're watching this, you might be a sound engineer, musician, singer-songwriter, maybe you have a home studio, or you're an aspiring producer. But whatever the case may be, you likely have a pair of ears, one on each side of your head. Now, these two little things here are good for more than just attaching your COVID face mask. If trained and used properly, they are the best thing that you've got going for you in audio and music production. Are the best sound engineers and producers born with better hearing? A pair of golden ears, as they say? Well, not necessarily, but what they do have that sets them apart is a pair of well-trained ears. They can hear the subtle nuances that the average listener doesn't. To the untrained ear, an acoustic guitar is just an acoustic guitar. But a well-trained ear would be able to hear the difference between a Martin acoustic guitar and a Takamine acoustic guitar. Having trained ears is also what allows a world-class musician to be able to sit down in a room with 15 Marshall JCM 800s and hear the difference between all of them, quickly allowing them to find the one that they like and the one that's best suited for their purpose. When we think of ear training, it's most commonly thought of as being able to recognize things like pitch and intervals, scales, and chord progressions. But ear training also includes learning frequencies and critical listening. And both of those are so important. Whether you're a sound engineer, producer, or musician, having the skills of being able to identify frequencies and critical listening are really key to getting the results and the sounds that you want. If you want your mix to sound great, well, you first need to be able to identify what sounds great. You need a starting point. It's not enough to recognize that, hey, that's a great sounding track. What specifically about it sounds great? If you want an awesome guitar tone, you need a reference point in your head of what awesome sounds like. Otherwise, how are you ever going to get there? This is what critical listening will do for you. And when you can recognize and identify frequencies along with the specific characteristics of what you hear, you can achieve your desired results much more easily. Training your ears and learning frequencies will help you to get great sounds when recording and mixing, both in the studio and in live sound. Properly trained ears will allow you to hear the subtle differences in equipment from mic pre's to microphones. For example, between a Neumann U87 and a Neumann U47, or between various instrument pickups or amplifiers. And all of this will help you make better decisions on what equipment to purchase for a particular project. Well-trained ears allow you to find the sweet spot for mic placement. And it also helps you in using the right tool for the job. Like when you're deciding if the Sennheiser 421 or 609 would be better for miking your guitar cabinet to get the particular sound that you're looking for. Well-trained ears and knowing frequencies also help you get the best results from a sound system and eliminate feedback in live sound. I'm going to talk about EQ for a minute because EQ is the manipulation of frequencies. Now, when most people think of EQ, it's the treble and bass on their home or car stereo that comes to mind. And these controls affect the tone of a sound. Bass is the thump of a kick drum or the low notes of a bass guitar. And these would be sub-frequencies. Treble is the frequencies of the cymbals, the knob that you turn up when you want a little more definition from your stereo. These would be the high frequencies. Treble and bass actually describe the two ends of the frequency spectrum. Okay, so here's a short, boring science part. The frequency spectrum that we deal with in audio is from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, which is typically what the human ear can hear. Hertz, which is abbreviated as Hz, is the unit of measurement that we use to describe the frequency of waves. Sound waves are vibrations in the air that we perceive as pitch. And we measure those vibrations by how many complete cycles they make per second. So 1 hertz equals 1 cycle per second. 20 hertz equals 20 cycles per second, and so on. Boring science part over. In audio, the frequency spectrum is split up